let me just get straight to it. I thought, you know what, instead of selling, let me just try this. Owning something is pretty much the number one thing that got me to the position where I am today. Buying something, having it, and having other people want it, and then you can like rent it out and build some kind of a service on top of it. All right, hey guys, last round of the day. Just wanted to give something a little bit more practical than I normally ramble on about in terms of metaphors and so on. This is pretty practical. People often wonder like, oh, what do you do for a living? You know, that classic thing on YouTube and TikTok. They run up to people and say, oh, you know, nice car, what do you do for a living? Well, I get that pretty often. Oh, what's your job? What do you do? How do you have, you know, so much freedom? It's not about, you know, any kind of humble bragging or anything like that. I think there's some really clear things that will help people get a leg up. And interestingly enough, it doesn't always have to do with like education. Let me just get straight to it. Owning something is pretty much the number one thing that got me to the position where I am today. So owning something in the classical sense of like buying something, having it, and having other people want it, and then you can like rent it out and build some kind of a service on top of it. It started very, very early on, right out of college. And I can't believe it, but I spent nearly like $7,000 on a video projector. And it was like a selfish thing that I thought, oh, how cool would that be just to like buy a video projector and then have it. And then, oh yeah, by the way, like you can rent it out on the side. And you know what? It just, ever since then, it's sort of stuck. Everything has been like that. Oh, you buy something and then it has an alternative use to it. And then there's this whole emerging category of like idle capacity, and people have things that just sit there idle and you could like potentially rent them out separately on the side. Turo is a car service that just launched in Australia not that long ago, actually just about 6 months ago. I know it's been around North America for a while. You know, so this is becoming more common for like just beyond things like residential properties and renting them out in your spare time. Now regulations will catch up to that, but there's still a lot of things that you could balance owning and then just playing that out for occasional rent. And you know, it's just a good sampling ground to see if you actually like working in business, if you like the headaches of trying to prep or, you know, make sure that everything's given to the person so they're going to be able to operate this thing properly. So if it's a video projector, do they have all the cables, all the adapters? Is it, you know, got a sturdy case so it's not going to get knocked around? And it's always a case of, will other people care for your stuff? Now, I'm not saying it's the greatest business model out there, but it is in a sense where it's a sunk cost for personal enjoyment or personal/business, and you can essentially recoup that back as much as you want. You're in control. You can decide not to rent it out for days at a time, weeks at a time, and it's just a really healthy, I guess, positively geared model where you can, you know, you're in control of it. And if you structure it right, if it's not, we're not talking about like big like Lamborghinis or something like that, where it might be a little bit tricky to make that back in a rental cost or find people that'll rent it off you and take care for it properly. But yeah, so anyway, that's the thought of the day. For me, it was, I had a property that I wasn't too sure what to do with. I got stuck in a situation where basically it was a family home that we needed to sell. But I thought, you know what, instead of selling, let me just try this. You know, it was Airbnb was big at the time. So let's just try, in a good market like Sydney, Australia, let's just try it out, put it on there, and then just go gradually more and more and more. Now those things aren't going to last forever. You know, regulations come in and play it out, but it gives you enough to get ahead, build up a cash base to do something else, try something else. Another feature of the video series did the car club with all the different fleet of luxury vehicles that you can rent out. Same thing. I mean, that's structured like a proper business, but I'm sure it started by one person with one vehicle, and then from there you find your comfort zone, and it could be said about anything. So, you know, you want to run a go-kart business, guess what? Get a couple go-karts in an open lot somewhere that you've got permission to use, and just go from there. You know, people like experience. People like to jump in on other people's experience. You, as the person who's passionate about that one thing, can share your enthusiasm for it, and that's, you know, that's enough. That's enough of a head start. You don't need to go to university to learn that. And I think there's room for that everywhere. Like if everybody's just passionate about one thing and they're sharing it with others, I'm happy to follow what other people do. And it's a luxury if they've opened up their service to me, saying, yeah, you know what, I've got this boat, and for $300 or $500 or $1,000 a day, you can take it out. Now, if it's a lot of money, then not everyone's going to be able to do that. But it's still the fact that you can, the person who owns it is in control. So that's what I'd say, guys. Find something that you can own, as big or as small as it can be. Make sure it's got some excitement factor to it, and make sure that you are putting it out there, and have a few processes in place, because you're lending out your personal goods, or that you probably are passionate and care about as well. So anyway, thought of the day, last round of the day, just about to dismount, and the sun's coming out. Man, it's always like that, isn't it? All right, take care, guys. See you in the next one.